Hey everyone, it's Kong again with another episode of Should You Summon. As always, I'm going to be presenting high-level overviews using these 4 criteria to help you decide whether this banner is worth your hard-earned vouchers and crystals. So let's quickly get right into this raid-up banner featuring Evil God Kreuger and Rozenciel, running from September 30th to October 13th. As a raid-up banner, you have a 40% chance of getting each on-banner hero, with the remaining unlucky 20% reserved for any off-banner hero in the summoning pool. Evil God Kreuger is a Dark and Myth AoE debuffer, classic. He gets a boost to damage dealt for every debuff on an enemy, anywhere on the map, up to a maximum of plus 30%. He also converts a buff into a debuff on any target he damages, including his AoEs, so he has a chance to strip important buffs before the rest of your team engages. His 3-cost skill initially lets you pick a victim anywhere on the map and curse them. They then become a walking debuff epicenter that gives 3 debuffs to 3 friends within 3 spaces for 3 turns. After cursing someone, this skill switches to a big debuff AoE blast that cools down faster the more people he hits with it. His regular kit has a bunch of the usual AoE debuff stuff as well, and a 1-cost skill that lets him grant a shield to an ally, or himself, and then move again, extending his reach. He's a member of Mythical Realm, buffed by Gizzeroff and the Sage of the Trees, and Dark Reincarnation, buffed by Bozel and Licorice. For bonds, he unlocks the attack bond for Vincent, and he needs Shalinka for his own defensive bond, and Gizzeroff for his attack bond. For content, in PvE, he's on faction for Leviar in the Eternal Temple and Fenrir in Ancient Beckoning, and he's pretty good for both. He's not in the top scoring Fenrir teams anymore, but he can definitely help you get your S rank if you don't have other alternatives. On the flip side, he's great in PvP for a few reasons. In addition to just splashing debuffs around, he actually does a lot of AoE damage, so he has some legitimate killing potential. He's also really bulky. A well-built Kreuger can survive a surprising range of attacks. At higher star levels, he can potentially carry your team. For availability, we do know that Evil God Kreuger will be coming back in early February on a Destiny banner alongside Listel and Renata. So that'll actually be his first Destiny banner. Up next we have Rozenciel, who's a meta-dominant, anti-debuff specialist healer. When she uses a skill on an ally, she dispels a debuff and gives up to 3 stacks of a barrier that cancels the next incoming debuff. Each character can stack up to 5 of these barriers at a time. Whenever an ally ends their turn within range of Rozenciel, they also get some healing and an additional barrier stack. Her 3-cost skill heals allies within range, and gives them a couple turns of Tiaris-style post-battle healing, and it also turns Rozenciel into an immobile crystal beacon. While she's in this state, she can't move or attack or use skills, but she does get increased healing, increased range for her auto-healing talent, and she can revive if she gets killed. She also continues to heal nearby allies and grant them barrier stacks when she ends her turn. She's a member of Mythical Realm, buffed by Gizzeroff and the Sage of the Trees, Princess Alliance, buffed by Luna, Shelfaniel, and Christiane, and Empire's Honor, buffed by Bernhardt, Leon, Lance, and Rozenciel. Her faction buff for Empire's Honor increases damage dealt when you're actively attacking by 12%, and it causes anyone who attacks you to lose a buff before combat. For bonds, she unlocks both the attack and defensive bonds for Clotaire, who also unlocks her attack bond. For her defensive bond, she needs Lanford. For content, in PvE, she's on faction for Leviar and Valkyrie in the Eternal Temple, and Fenrir, Sleipnir, and Needhog in Ancient Beckoning. She is still a staple in the top scoring teams for the latter 2 of those. In PvP, mass debuffs are always a threat, as exemplified by the previous character on this banner. And the problem isn't just AoEs, there are some single target debuffs like heal blocks and stuns that Rozenciel can shut down as well. She has traditionally been a common early ban, but there are so many DPS threats out there right now that you might actually get a chance to deploy her now and then. For availability, Rozenciel hasn't popped up on another banner in China yet, so she won't be coming back to global before early March at the absolute earliest. Alright, so here's the quick and dirty. We have Evil God Kreuger, who's a bulky debuff and AoE specialist who unlocks the attack bond for Vincent. And we have Rozenciel, who's a meta-changing healer with strong debuff protection. She carries one of the faction buffs for Empire's Honor, and she unlocks both attack and defensive bonds for Clotaire. And now it's time for the notes for noobs. If you're a newer player with a newer account and you just want to know, should you summon these characters? Rozenciel is great in PvE, she's top tier in PvP, and in 2 Ancient Beckoning fights, so fairly simple answer on this one, summon for her if you can. Evil God Kreuger is also great, although he's definitely more PvP oriented. If you're avoiding Arena altogether, then someone like Bozel will be more than enough to meet your needs, but if you are planning on apexing at some point, he'll be a good addition to an AoE and debuff box. Finally, just my usual reminder about upcoming banners. We're apparently on a little bit of an Empire spree right now. We recently finished the Lucretia and Autocrato EOL cycle, and we also just had the banner featuring Elwyn, Leon, and Bernhardt. Now here we are again with a top-notch healer who also happens to be a perfectly viable Empire faction buffer in her own right. Next week continues the trend with a banner featuring Florentia, Helena, and Betty. The week after that, we are going to start to shift gears into kind of princess mode in advance of the introduction of Christiane on the 21st. We'll have a recurring banner featuring Bozel, Luna, and Liana, and another featuring Shilinka, Subame, and Angelina. Okay, so that's it for this episode. I hope you found this video and these summaries helpful enough to deserve a little thumbs up, and let me know in the comments if you plan on summoning here. I think I'm going to, but probably not this week. I'm actively using Gates of Fate on both of these units right now, so an 80% chance to speed up my schedule overall is a pretty good opportunity. I am going to wait till next week though, so I can hopefully make it a combo summoning video, but we shall see. As always, thank you so much for watching, best of luck in your own summoning sessions, and I'll catch you in the next Should You Summon. Extra special thanks, of course, to our Langrisser tier channel members for generously supporting the channel directly. Levitt, Derek Gunderson, Kyle Greer-Brown, William Householder, Kate Soon, Jared Portela, Eden Seal, and Shara Ilimerius. Thanks, folks.